Tommy Shelby is finally back, but is his return worth the long wait? Let's find out. What is going on, everybody? Tom Chattelbash here, and if you love movies and TV like I do, then rest assured you are in the right place. And today, we're going to be reviewing Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, the long-awaited follow-up to the beloved Netflix series, Peaky Blinders, once again starring Cillian Murphy as Tommy Shelby. Now, in Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, we catch up with Tommy Shelby. He's in the self-imposed exile after the events of the series. He is keeping to himself. He doesn't want to talk to people. He doesn't want to associate himself with the Peaky Blinders. He just wants to be on his own with the ghosts of his past as he lives a life of solitude. But he is brought out of exile once he learns that his son has gotten himself into a bit of trouble. His son, played here by Barry Keoghan, and so he comes out of his exile to help his son and take down the man who is putting him in such a bad spot. Now, Peaky Blinders is one of my favorite shows of all time. It was one of those shows that actually got me through lockdown, and I just fell in love with it and binged all of the seasons, and it's been such a treat to watch each and every season. My whole family loves Peaky Blinders, so this one definitely holds a special place in my heart. So naturally, I was very excited for this movie, and I had some pretty high expectations. Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, unfortunately, it's good, it's just not great. And if this is the swan song for the series, I just feel very unsatisfied, and I don't really love the way certain things and characters are handled. Now, that's not to say there aren't some great things about this movie. I do think, first and foremost, the performances are incredible here. I think Cillian Murphy, he's just born to play Tommy Shelby. He just brings that emotional gravitas. He wears the weight of the original series and everything that character has been through, the people he's lost. He wears it like a 1,000-pound bag around his shoulders, and he's just so good at conveying so much by doing so little. And Cillian Murphy just continues to be amazing as this character, and he's always compelling to watch throughout, and I just love him as Tommy Shelby. And then we have Barry Keoghan, who plays his estranged son here, and who I think was a very inspired choice to play his son, and I always love Keoghan. I just feel like he's such an unpredictable, magnetic performer, and I think he really channels the spirit of Tommy Shelby as his son here, and I love their scenes together. I wish they had more scenes together, but I do feel like he feels very much like the son of Tommy Shelby in all the best ways, and I think that their scenes together are some of the best in the film. And you have some supporting performances from Tim Roth and Stephen Graham, and some of familiar faces that, come back from the original series. And as for the film itself, I think it's really well directed. I think the cinematography and the production design, it's luscious, it's grand in scope, it's a beautiful looking film. You could tell they got a hefty budget for this one. It's definitely more, I would say, action-packed than I expected, and I thought that just visually, it's just a gorgeous looking film. And also, I think the atmosphere is definitely there. It feels like a Peaky Blinders continuation. I mean, it's a very enveloping atmosphere. It's great to be back in this world and with these characters, and it put a big smile on my face, not only just seeing Tommy Shelby again, but seeing familiar locations and faces, and just feeling like I'm back in the world of Peaky Blinders. It felt like they didn't miss a step in that regard at all. And I will say, all of the action set pieces in this film, and there are definitely more than I expected, are actually really well done, exciting, propulsive, visceral, and I really enjoyed that as well. Now, in terms of the storytelling, that's where this movie runs into a lot of issues, because there are things I really liked about the storytelling here, and there are things I really didn't like about the storytelling here. I love the exploration of, Tommy's son being the new leader of the Peaky Blinders, how he's doing his best to lead this new iteration of the gang, and how his moral compass is still quite askew, to say the least, and watching that relationship between him and his father slowly kind of mend as the film goes on. I really loved all of that. I thought that was really well done. I also think the exploration of Tommy's history and his grief, how he feels haunted. He's living in this house all by himself, and he just feels haunted by ghosts of his past. I love how they, show that visually, and of course, Cillian Murphy's performance just elevates that even further, and I just thought that was a really great way of showing, where Tommy's been, where he is now, and why he's almost a shell of the man he used to be. And I did enjoy the introduction of this new gypsy character who's played here by Rebecca Ferguson. I do think that her scenes with Cillian Murphy are especially good. She just feels like a natural fit for this Peaky Blinders continuation, and I liked how her character brought a bit of history with Tommy with her, and I thought that was really interesting the way they explored that. But my two big issues with this film are how they handle the resolutions of certain characters without getting into spoilers. I just felt like it didn't sit right with me. I just feel like certain things that they do here to resolve certain character stories, it just didn't feel like it was in the spirit of the show. It didn't fully make sense to me, and emotionally left me very frustrated and a little bit angry because it just didn't feel right. And also, I do feel like in a lot of ways this film feels rushed. I mean, it clocks in at a little less than 2 hours, and it feels like they're trying to cover a lot of ground in a short period of time. And I'm gonna be honest, this could have been way better as just a new season of the show, say a final season of the show. I just feel like so many of the things that happen in this movie, it just feels like we're rushing to get there, especially the ending, which I think is powerful. But I feel like if we had a season of the show to lead up to that ending, it would have been way better, especially if certain things were changed, to say the least. I just feel like certain character introductions and their presence just feels very underwritten and underdeveloped. I just feel like there was a lot more story that could have been told, especially in a full season of the show, where they're trying to make this feel like an epilogue, where it just kind of feels like a truncated ending to the show that I feel like could have been a lot better, especially since there are a lot of characters and dangling story threads from the last season of the show that are just kind of left there and are unresolved, and a lot of characters don't even return here, so it just kind of feels very strange that they're not there, or at least, you know, given some sort of scene. So when the credits rolled, I felt very mixed about Peaky Blinders: The Immortal Man. I think it's a gorgeous looking film with some solid performances, and there are things about it I did really enjoy, but at the end of the day, I still feel like I would have rather had a final season of the show than this 2-hour movie that is kind of a mediocre epilogue to the show that I feel like doesn't really resolve the story and certain characters in a way that feels satisfying to me. But maybe that's just my opinion, but I'm very, very curious to see what other fans of the show think of this movie, especially the ending and how certain things are handled, but I guess I'll see you in the comments. So in the end, I'm gonna give Peaky Blinders: The Immortal Man, I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 stars. Like I said, the action set pieces, the cinematography, the direction, the performances, certain aspects of the story really enjoyed. But I do, at the end of the day, wish we could have just gotten a new season of the show that could have wrapped things up in a much better, more satisfying way. But alas, here we are. So those are my thoughts on Peaky Blinders: The Immortal Man. If you've checked it out, let me know in the comments what you think of the movie. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think it's just okay? If you're gonna leave something that's spoiler heavy in the comments, please put a spoiler warning. I don't want this, to be spoiled for people who haven't streamed it yet. So please be considerate to your fellow commenters, please. And until next time, everybody, I'm Tom Chattelbash, YouTube's most reliable movie critic.